Tonight, the next stage of the reopening of the Menindee Lakes to begin this week. And Port Lincoln unites to remember the teenager killed in a freak accident last week.
From our 7 Spencer Golf Studios, your nightly news with John Hunt begins now.
Good evening, everyone. Water will start being released from the Menindee Lakes this week, months earlier than originally expected. The small flow is said to be enough to replenish the lower Darling and Murray without impacting the lake system.
It's been less than a month since water flowed into Lake Menindee for the first time in 5 years. Now some of that water will be released downstream.
That water will provide a good flushing flow through the lower Darling, which is really important to providing for fish movement around the lower Darling and provide extra fish habitat.
The Murray-Darling Basin Authority now has control of the lakes to use water when required downstream. It's expected 20 to 30 gigalitres will be released over the next 3 weeks, a small percentage of the 1,000 gigalitres predicted to enter the lakes.
We've been talking a lot with local stakeholders in that region about the timing of this flow and the peak that we'll get to, and understand that it'll be quite helpful.
The move coming earlier than expected, with the MDBA originally saying water was unlikely to be taken before late spring.
April and early May have been quite dry. It's meant that irrigation demands have been sustained on the Murray.
Meantime, the Murray-Darling Association will begin its annual conference tomorrow, with stakeholders and government meeting at Wentworth.
We need to hear from our local governments and our communities on what a healthy connected system means to them, what a healthy connected system looks like.
Coming together in the hope history doesn't repeat. Lachlan Itter, 7 Spencer Golf News.
The South Australian government says it's monitoring the situation engulfing the owner of the Whyalla Steelworks. The British government's Serious Fraud Office is now investigating GFG Alliance. Financing company White Oak also appeared to pull out of a recent refinancing deal, however later clarified its continuing negotiations. The member for Giles says the probe will take time.
It does create a degree of uncertainty. The investigation in the UK is probably going to take many months to come to a conclusion. In the meantime, the operations here in Australia will continue.
GFG says work on the deal is continuing. There were emotional scenes in Port Lincoln on Friday night, where hundreds gathered for a candlelight vigil to remember Spencer Benbolt. The 13-year-old was killed last Tuesday when a bin he was sleeping in was tipped into a rubbish truck.
Through the tears and screams of heartbroken family and friends, hundreds walked together to honour a young life lost.
Today was just a beautiful tribute for young boy today, and just no words.
Port Lincoln's shattered community gathered at the city's jetty on Friday night with flowers and candles. Roads were blocked off as loved ones walked together to the scene where Spencer's life was cut short. The 13-year-old tragically lost his life last Tuesday when a bin he was sleeping in was tipped into a rubbish truck. At the vigil, cries of children shattered the silence.
This young boy was very loved, and I just want everybody to know that he was very loved, come from a loving home and a loving community. We all loved him, and he will be sadly missed.
The crowd stood in the pouring rain as dozens of balloons were released. Spencer remembered for his cheeky smile and love for camping and fishing.
And he was always happy. He was always happy, full of joy.
A fundraiser to support the family with the upcoming funeral has already raised more than $13,000.
Always be kind. When you see a young kid in the street, say hello, say how they're going. Just a single smile and a hello, that's all. And just to be friendly.
Nathan Regter, 7 Spencer Golf News.
A Broken Hill man will appear in court after allegedly assaulting a police officer last week. It follows what police described as an altercation amongst a large group on Creedon Street at 6 p.m. on Wednesday. Police allege bottles were thrown at them, with a senior officer assaulted and 3 police vehicles damaged in the incident. A 27-year-old man was subsequently arrested and charged with assaulting police in the execution of duty. He'll face court next month. Police investigations into the incident are ongoing. Still to come tonight, Port Augusta's Catholic school celebrates a special birthday, and Broken Hill's best football is preparing for the Miners' Cup. Welcome back. A speeding motorist has lost his licence on the spot after he was caught along the Flinders Highway at Haslam. The 44-year-old man from Mitchell Park was clocked going a staggering 167 kilometres an hour in a 110 zone. Police spotted the Hyundai around 9 on Wednesday morning and pulled it over. The man was slapped with a $1,780 fine for excessive speed. Meanwhile, Far North Police were kept busy over the weekend on the Stewart Highway north of Port Augusta. 6 drivers were caught speeding along the highway on Saturday afternoon as police conducted mobile radar duties. Those caught were travelling between 12 and 31 kilometres over the limit, with all 6 to be issued with a traffic infringement notice. Police say the consequences of speeding can be significant, urging drivers to follow the rules. Port Augusta's Caritas College is celebrating its 150th birthday, with the whole school coming together to commemorate the occasion. Staff say it's an important milestone, recognising the history of the school's origins.
A cake cutting fitting of today's special occasion.
Can't believe the years have flown so fast.
Staff and students coming together to acknowledge the origins of the school, which opened on this day in 1871.
150 years ago, 2 sisters and Mary MacKillop travelled up the Gulf and started the school with 56 students in a tin shed on the wharf at Port Augusta.
It was a special day, rich in history, with the Sisters of St Joseph joining in the celebrations. Blessing a tree before it was planted, the new feature marks the growth of the school over the years.
And for these students today, the very young ones, hopefully they will remember in 50 years' time when it's 200 years and they'll remember back to what school was like then.
I think today is equally as much about honouring the creativity and the responsiveness and the resilience and the courage of those sisters, but it's about that going forward.
For the students, they say it's an honour to be a part of the landmark event.
It means a great honour to me and all the other leaders as well, considering it is the 150th, it is a humongous year for us when planning, celebrating and just creating events for everyone, so it is a pretty big year.
Preparations will now get underway for Mary MacKillop Day, which is set to be held later in the year.
Really good for the community, and I'm really glad that I could be involved with that so we can plan the events that are happening throughout the year and all those things to make sure everybody's getting involved.
Katrina Musson, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Broken Hill's combined AFL sides believe communication and team building will be the key to success in the upcoming Miners' Cup. Jubilee Oval set to host the blockbuster game, which was postponed during last year's cancelled season.
Rivals uniting as one, hoping to do our city proud. Broken Hill's best footy talent training together for the Miners' Cup.
It's going to be a great opportunity because we haven't had combined football here in Broken Hill for a long time.
It's been more than a decade since an interleague game was held in our city. That will soon change when Broken Hill hosts a rep team from the Far North Football League. The combined sides haven't faced off since 2019.
Due to COVID, there was no football in our region, and Roxby never played as well. But the year before, we travelled to Roxby. It was the first time it had actually been played out of Adelaide.
The hiatus making it difficult to know what our team will come up against, relying on whispers to judge the Far North's performance. Shift work and injuries reducing numbers at training, but it's communication that's the coach's key focus.
The boys are still doing their own club trainings as they require under their own club coaches. So if we just get them out, and it's about gelling as a group more than working on fitness or stuff.
Our women's team's also coming together. They'll be hosting a side from Sunraysia.
And they are very good down there. They had couple of girls that played in the Adelaide Crows side and stuff like that. They are very good. They're going to be a very tough opponent.
The usual club rivalry put aside for one day only.
You get out in the field, white line fever.
The Miners' Cup will be played on the 29th at Jubilee Oval. Lachlan Itter, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Stay with us. We'll go around the grounds and check the weekend's footy scores. And the Arid Lands Botanic Garden preparing for its annual celebration of gardening. Australians have been asked to give their time up to help make the community a better place to live. The call comes as National Volunteers Week officially began today. Locals across the country dedicate more than 600 million hours per year to help others. However, COVID-19 has hurt the sector, with nearly 3/4 of groups still yet to recover their pre-COVID numbers.
This is an opportunity for Australia in general to get behind volunteering, recognise that contribution and celebrate it.
Volunteers Week will run until Sunday. Drivers in Broken Hill can expect diversions and detours after part of a major road was closed today. The southbound lane of the Gypsum Street overpass closed this morning as reconstruction works begin. Detours will be in place during the project, with drivers told to use Crystal Street when travelling to South Broken Hill. The works are expected to take 10 weeks to complete. Northbound traffic is unaffected. Preparations are well underway at the Arid Lands Botanic Gardens for this year's Botanic Gardens Day. Volunteers say it's a day of celebration, shedding light on the important role both plants and gardens play in our lives.
Immersed in Australian natives, this unique area is preparing to go on display. Botanic Gardens Day is fast approaching, with the Arid Lands Botanic Garden joining 99 others in commemorating the day.
It's celebrated by all botanic gardens in Australia and New Zealand.
The day of celebration shedding light on the important role plants and botanic gardens play in our lives and conservation of nature for the future. This year's theme, The Power of Plants, exploring how to improve well-being through nature.
Which is a pretty good theme, I think, because there's so much plants can do for us. It makes us feel better, and we're having research on plants, and it's very important for our climate and our weather.
From guided tours, learning about plant qualities, to relaxing amongst nature, organisers say there will be something for everyone to enjoy.
It is a unique garden and world class, and we like to celebrate these things as they occur.
Locals and visitors are being encouraged to join the celebrations on May 30.
I think this would be the day for you to come out, bring your family, have lunch or morning tea and do a tour and have a lovely day out in our wonderful Arid Lands Botanic Garden.
Katrina Musson, 7 Spencer Golf News.
It was an interesting weekend in football across the region, with some big scores racked up. In Port Lincoln, Lincoln South showed its credentials, thumping the reigning premiers. Nathan Regter has this week's footy wrap.
It was a game Tasmans desperately wanted to win, with Saturday's match coinciding with the club's 75th anniversary. But there was no sweet ending for Tasmans to this party, with Souths proving unstoppable. It was an easy first half for the Eagles, with Mitch Hall flexing his muscle, kicking goal after goal. The quick fire start rattling Tasmans as Souths flew to an early lead. Tasmans cracking under the pressure, with the game getting away from them. By half-time, the Eagles were up 44 points. Souths were right on the money with their ball movement, while Tasmans were making mistakes they couldn't afford. The Eagles finishing the game strong, smashing Tasmans by 94 points. They are starting this season yet to have their first loss, while last year's premiership winners Tasmans are struggling. Elsewhere, Waybacks crushed the Tigers, breaking through the 200-point barrier to win by a comfortable 178 points. While in the top of the table clash between Marble Range and Mallee Park, Marble Range secured a huge 97-point win over second place Mallee Park. Moving up to Whyalla, and West scored a win over North, 63-21. Central's dominated South, Cade Jones and Matt Warford proving their worth, booting 20 goals between them as the Roosters won by a whopping 214 points. And the Roos fell short against Waroona Bay on Sunday. Over in the SGL League, and Port went down to the Lions, Solomon Town had a small win over Centrals, and South Augusta were unstoppable against West, winning 104-32. In Great Flinders, Lock securing a big win over the top of Tumby, Ellison District had a good win over Air United, and United Yalana took the points over the Ramblers. And finally, in the Silver City, West defeated Centrals while North went down to South. Some big wins across the region over the weekend. That's it for football. I'll be back tomorrow with the rest of sport.
Stay with us after the break. We'll check what you can expect to pay at the Bowser this week. And we'll have the weather details with Ruby. Hello again. City motorists have been hit with huge price hikes over the weekend, up to $1.70 for unleaded at many service stations. With all the details, here's Lachlan Itter with an early edition of Fuel Watch.
Well, the good news is we're not seeing those huge prices that many of our city counterparts are paying, but after a few weeks of stability, many parts of our region are on the way up again. We'll take a look at unleaded first, and as you can see, only a few areas get away unscathed. Port Lincoln drivers get a slight reprieve, now paying $1.43, but it's a drop most won't even notice. Nothing to report in Whyalla, where it's smooth sailing at $1.40 a litre. Now to those areas where prices have gone up, and in typical fashion, they're only small jumps. Port Augusta has taken the unwanted crown as the most expensive place to fill up in the Spencer Gulf. Expect to pay $1.44 a litre. Broken Hill still topping that at $1.45. Port Pirie remains the cheapest option, even with the largest price jump this time around. It's $1.37 there, and you'll pay $1.39 in Kadina. Those city prices are the big concern, averaging $1.68, but as high as $1.70 in some parts. There are a few outlets still selling for around $1.23 in pockets of the northern suburbs, so it's worth looking online before taking out your wallet. We're seeing a similar trend with diesel, with prices going up, but only incrementally. The bad news continues for Broken Hill drivers, up to $1.46 a litre. Port Augusta also feeling the pinch, paying $1.41. Port Lincoln's up to $1.36 on the dot, a price increase in Kadina as well, $1.34 there. Whyalla and Port Pirie are unchanged at $1.37 and $1.34 respectively. Finally, to Autogas, where the only change is for drivers in Port Pirie. Prices dropping there to 94 cents a litre. The best prices are in Whyalla and Broken Hill this week. Try to avoid filling up in Port Lincoln and Kadina. Remember that these prices are the regional averages and do not reflect any one particular outlet. And if you do spot unleaded, diesel or Autogas cheaper, be sure to let us know on our Facebook page.
Time now to check what you can expect in the weather across the region this week. Alex Sykes is still enjoying some leave, so once again, here's Ruby Kameen.
Thanks, John. From 3 p.m. today, Port Augusta was partly cloudy and reached a top of 19. Whyalla had a morning shower or two, 18 degrees. Partly cloudy in Broken Hill, a chilly max of 15. Woodner, Kadina, Cleve and Coober Pedy all reached 19. Port Pirie partly cloudy, 18 degrees. Port Lincoln and Adelaide both reached a top of 17. Taking a look at the satellite image now, low cloud clearing over southern parts of South Australia in brisk winds due to a front is bringing isolated light showers to the coasts. High pressure building is clearing skies and allowing for a cool and frosty morning inland. Moving on to tomorrow's weather outlook now, and we'll start with the Gulf waters. Variable winds about 10 knots, seas below 1 metre, swells south to southwesterly 1 to 2 metres. Port Lincoln and Cleve is set to be a mostly sunny, reaching 20 degrees. Woodner a top of 21, also mostly sunny. Whyalla sunny and 20 degrees. Port Augusta also sunny 21. Kadina mostly sunny and a max of 19. Port Pirie sunny and 20. Clare mostly sunny 17. And Broken Hill 18, also mostly sunny. Taking a look further through the week now, partly cloudy across the region on Wednesday. Coober Pedy, Port Augusta and Woodner all to reach 22. Whyalla, Port Pirie and Port Lincoln to hit 21. A max of 19 degrees in Kadina, Broken Hill and Adelaide. Partly cloudy again across the region on Thursday. Woodner a top of 24 degrees. Port Augusta and Cooper Pedy both to reach 23, Port Pirie and Whyalla 22, Port Lincoln a max of 21, Kadina, Broken Hill and Adelaide all 20 degrees. Those partly cloudy conditions continuing on Friday, Port Augusta and Woodner both to reach 24 degrees, Port Pirie and Cooper Pedy a max of 23, Port Lincoln and Whyalla both 22 degrees, Broken Hill a top of 20, Kadina to hit 21, Adelaide sunny also 21. And that's all the weather from me for now. I'll be returning a little later with an update. Alex Sykes will be back tomorrow night with all your weather details, but for now, it's back to you, John.
Thanks for that, Ruby. And that's the local news this Monday evening. Thanks for joining us. I'll have updates later, and we will be back tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Until then, enjoy your evening. Good night.